His slogan should be, F America. I want to F America.
Boy, do I have a treat for y'all today, folks. And yes, it does have to do with Donald Trump drinking bleach, but really only tangentially, just because that is part of the ad. But the spectacle I have for you today is a new Biden campaign ad where they had a very special superstar guest voice the ad for them. One of Trump's fellow New Yorkers and greatest adversary, Mr. Are You Looking at Me? Robert De Niro. And we'll break down the ad afterwards, go through what their intentions were with it, as well as talk about some of the other things that De Niro has been doing and saying about Trump in recent weeks. So make sure you drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and without further ado, let's get into it.
From midnight tweets to drinking bleach to tear-gassing citizens and staging a photo op, we knew Trump was out of control when he was president. Then he lost the 2020 election and snapped, desperately trying to hold on to power. Now he's running again, this time threatening to be a dictator, to terminate the Constitution.
If I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath.
Trump wants revenge, and he'll stop at nothing to get it.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
And that spot, appropriately named Snapped, is just the latest in a slew of anti-Trump Biden ads that have been put out by the Biden campaign. And this one seems like a perfect tag team because Robert De Niro, in recent months, as you may recall, has gone on some absolute tirades about Donald Trump, just eviscerating him. Whether it's on Bill Maher or The View, he has been very vocal about his feelings towards Donald Trump, and he is not afraid to lay it all on the line when talking about him. Here he is on Bill Maher from a couple months ago.
So why is Trump winning? I mean, the New York Times poll this week came out, and maybe this will change it with the State of the Union address, but Trump was beating him rather soundly. It was quite a warning light, 48 to 43, also winning way more among women than he had before, winning outright Latinos. What do you attribute that to?
I don't know. I just don't want to feel the way I did, and many of us don't, after the election in 2016, where we couldn't believe that it happened. The guy is a total monster. And anybody, I don't understand it. I guess they get behind that kind of logic. They want to fuck with people, screw them, because they're unhappy about something. He's such a mean, nasty, hateful person. I never play him as an actor because I can't see any good in him. Nothing.
I mean, pretty disparaging from the get-go, but you gotta respect that I would never play him as an actor because he's just too terrible of a person. That is wild.
Nothing at all. Nothing redeemable in him. And we have to, and whoever the people are who want to vote for him, and they look like intelligent people around there, somebody, for some reason, it can't be. It cannot be. If he wins the election, you won't be on the show anymore. He'll come looking for me. There'll be things that happen that none of us can imagine.
And it does come off as funny, but it is true. Like, Donald Trump literally says he will come after all of his opponents. And who's to say that friggin' Robert De Niro wouldn't be on that list?
That's what happens in that kind of a dictatorship, which is what he says. Let's believe him. Take him at his word.
I did from the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, I said from the very beginning, this guy is never going to concede power, and he still hasn't.
No.
He still hasn't. He just admitted he lost the last election, and he advertises that he will go on. He says he's been cheated out of one term, so maybe we should get rid of a president only gets 2 terms thing. So
he's a sociopathic, psychopathic, malignant narcissist.
You heard it from Robert De Niro. He is a malignant narcissist. And speaking of that, our newest episode of Shrinking Trump, where 2 world-renowned psychologists talk about Trump, his dementia, and his malignant narcissism, offering insights about Trump's mental state, just dropped today. You can check it out on the channel here or wherever you get your podcasts. Quick shout out for them. And Biden has just been pulling in studs for his advertising campaigns. Great ads, great people in them, support from Barack Obama, tons of people people at his fundraisers. So someone on his team is doing something right, clearly.
The spokesperson for the Biden-Harris 2024 re-election campaign, Adrian Elrod. Adrian, so good to see you this morning. Look, you get Robert De Niro voicing an ad like that. We've heard the Biden campaign, obviously, with some of those images, some of those messages out before. What difference does it make in terms of swing voters, in terms of donors, having a celebrity voice ads like that?
Well, it's incredibly important, of course, Katty, because number one, it does break through. I mean, Robert De Niro, two-time Academy Award winner, he's from New York. He epitomizes, the ultimate ability to draw a contrast with a fellow New Yorker. But we also, with this ad, Katty, want to make sure that the American people understand that as bad as a Trump presidency was in the first go-around, it will be even worse in the second go-around. He's made it very clear that he wants to rule like a dictator. He's made it very clear that if he loses this election, there will be a bloodbath. And he's made it very clear that he's going to use a second term not to fight for the American people, but to seek political revenge on his enemies, on his political enemies. And so we want to make sure that the American people truly understand this contrast, truly understand what is at stake. And you're going to see a lot more contrast like this coming from us, Katty, in the closing 5.5 months between now and the election.
And I agree, that's great. De Niro can bring some high-profile energy to Biden's campaign. And it's such a stark contrast to what Donald Trump is doing, where you have him bringing both convicted sex abusers and people indicted for murder up on stage as his supporters. Biden's going out and getting Robert De Niro. The contrast could not be more stark. And it's really a powerful weapon for Biden as well, because not only does it give them that star power, but De Niro actually believes all this, as you saw earlier in that previous clip on Bill Maher, but especially in this clip that went viral recently from The View.
You once famously said you'd like to punch him in the face, but right now he's leading in the polls in 5 battleground states. Any advice to the Biden campaign or the voters? What are you thinking?
Well, I think I don't understand why people are not taking him seriously, because you read about it historically in other countries that they didn't take the people seriously. I think Hitler, Mussolini, but they're fools and clowns. Well, there will be, and I hear it. There's some people. I mean, who does not think that this guy is going to do exactly what he says he's going to do?
Right.
He's done it already.
Right.
And then what? We're going to sit around and say, what? We told you so? Or whoever, I told you so? It's going to happen. If he gets elected, it's going to change this country for everybody. And they might think that it's going to make their life better, or they just want to, excuse my French, they just want to with the rest of the country. Literally. Those people who support him with anger and hate, because that's what he's about, they're going to see. I mean, I used to see these things. I didn't understand how he and Rosie O'Donnell used to get it. Didn't really care. Yeah. I see what a hateful, mean-spirited, awful thing he is.
He was vicious to her.
He's vicious. And why will he not do that in this country? He's already done it. Yep. Why would he not do? When I say I want to punch him in the face, it's because what he said to a person, a bystander or somebody in one of his rallies, he wants to punch him in the face. You don't talk that way to people. What kind of person does that?
Makes fun of the physically challenged. He makes fun of people who have physical challenges.
He's done that too. He's done everything.
He trashes the military. He says that people who go to war are losers. Wake up.
He's done everything. What more do you need? It's almost like he wants to do the worst that he could possibly do to show this country to with us. His slogan should be America. I want to America.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Mr. De Niro.